Exhale. Inhale deep. Exhale. Inhale to begin. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Adgurenname, Jugadgurenname, Sadgurenname, Sri Gurudevenname. Adgurenname, Jugadgurenname, Sadgurenname, Sri Gurudevenname. Adgurenname, Jugadgurenname, Sadgurenname, Sri Gurudevenname. Our topic is one that you've all been waiting for. Guess what that is? Love. Can you complete the statement? Love is, and don't quote anybody famous. Huh? Love is?
All there is.
All there is. You wish, huh? Love is? Louder. Excellent.
Beautiful.
Hands up.
Beautiful.
Love is beautiful. Sometimes it seems to be very painful. Love is?
Ideally an unconditional strength.
Ideally.
Ideally what?
An unconditional strength.
Go ahead, have you? A mystery. Love is a mystery.
Love is God.
Love is God and God is love. When you speak without your hand up, I'm not ready to hear you. You need to... You'll wait? An emotion. That's the problem. When it's an emotion.
And love is to serve.
Love is to serve. To serve is to love. Yes? Biological. Love does seem to have a chemistry to it.
Love is seeing the other as you.
Seeing the other as you, thank you. Any more? Love is.
Love is forgiveness.
Forgiveness? Seems like love is all. Even forgiveness, yes.
Challenging.
Challenging. I agree. Again?
Committed devotion.
Committed devotion. Wow.
Love is fun.
I need to hear everything twice today. I don't know. I need to hear everything twice.
Oh, love is fun.
Fun. Thank you. On a good day. Yes.
Love is divine.
Divine. Love conquers everything. Okay.
Love is the
verb, yeah? I don't know much about grammar, but I believe you. Thank you. Relay his communication.
Better with age.
Oh. Yeah, we say that it does take you 25 years to find out what love really is when you enter in a marriage.
Love is trust.
Mm-hmm. Do you trust your feeling of love? I thought I loved her. And then 5 years later you hate her. Intimacy. Interesting. Yeah.
Ever-changing.
Ever-changing. What's this doing to you? We're hearing all of this. What's happening? Nothing? Okay. Are you breathing? Are you allowing your connection to this? Remember, this is a kriya, this is a meditation. You need to breathe.
I'm not 100% sure how to explain it, but like love is your backup or your support. So say if you don't have it from your family, then you have it from up there, or everybody has it from somewhere, and if you don't have it, so support.
Love is your fallback. That's why I say fall in love, yeah.
So everything.
Love is everything. Mm-hmm.
All encompassing.
Ideally, yeah. Any more?
Love is getting naked.
Wonderful. Love is getting naked. Yeah. But on what level is he talking? You see? See, your mind jumps to one interpretation of what getting naked is. Yes.
Love is a choice.
Love is a choice. Definitely something to do with choice, yeah. Uh-huh.
Love is a vulnerability.
That's his connection to nakedness. Uh-huh. Okay, being vulnerable. Yeah. Yeah. Love just happens. It seems to sometimes, yeah.
Love grows.
Love grows, or do you grow into love? Yeah. Love is?
A great teacher.
Huh?
A great teacher.
A great teacher. What did it teach you? Uh-huh.
Love is a continuous falling into the heart.
Continuous falling into the heart. One time Yogi said, if you fall in love, keep on falling. Yeah, a continuous falling.
I was just going to say that it's like falling into prayer.
Falling into prayer. Good. Yeah. Well, we don't need much of a workshop on love then, do we? Do you live it? Does it happen in your life? How much of your day is lived in love? First figure that comes to your mind, percentage. How much of your 24 hours is lived in love? Anybody dare a figure?
I would say 80% right now because I'm at home with mum and dad.
You're home with your mum and dad, you're in Sangha, 80%. Wow. 70. Going up or going down? Anybody else?
Is it 10?
10. See? Sometimes it's like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All on a good day.
All on a good day. Uh-huh. And on a bad day, it can be zero, huh? It can be zero. Not one breath passed in love. Uh-huh. Yeah. which is where the question of choice and commitment comes into it. Yeah. We have a story with love, right? We all have a story about it, or not. Anybody say they don't have a story about love? You don't have a story? You have. We all have a story. We all have a story. And sitting with that for a moment, just like reflect a little bit in your life. What's my story with love? Apparently, Shakespeare said, love made me promise and love made me break my promise. It's the beginning of a story, isn't it? We've got wonderful statements to say, love is this, love is that, but if you sit with your story and somebody asked you, what's your mood, what's your feeling, what's present for you when you sit with your story of love? Is it beauty? Is it cosmic? Is it ideal? If you actually give a word to your experience of your story, what do you hold in your memory with your story? What comes out? Is that a too deep a question? Too soon in the morning? Can you say a phrase? Write it down. At least write it. Connect. Don't just sit in a paralyzed state there with it. Recognize it. Yes, there was a hand. Gary, you wanted to say?
I was talking about romanticism.
Wow. See, what does your mind do when you hear love? Do you think romantic love? Do you think ideal love? Yeah? What do you think? Do you think bhakti, love and devotion? What does your mind do? But is that your experience, is that your story, or is that your aspiration? We're here in a training, and we think love is all, love is everything, love heals, love covers you when you're having a bad, we think of these wonderful. Is that what we live? Is that our story? Or was your story? I had romantic dreams. I tried to chase those dreams. I thought I got those dreams. And then I got disappointed. And now I don't know what love is anymore. I'm confused, or I'm in pain, or I am not giving up. I'm going to look for that dream again with another or what's happened? What has your story been? Personally speaking, yeah? Make some notes yourself, and if you can catch a phrase that says it and you dare to share it, it will be. Communication is consciousness. Communication helps you to start rewriting the story and moving on from that story. So we've been together for 4 days, and maybe you can trust a little bit, say something openly here. And maybe not.
Pain, beauty, and grace.
Pain, beauty, and grace, yeah.
And sometimes all at the same time.
Yes, goes together. That's not one after the other. Goes together. Yeah.
My story with love is that I am all love and always have been blessed to receive a lot, and the drama sits in the self-love aspect.
The drama sits in the
Self-love,
self-love aspect. Mm-hmm. Good.
As soon as I'm with other humans, it's all there. And when I'm with myself, it's fading. It's not there anymore. And that's the big.
And that's the meditation you did with the video last night, wasn't it? Bless yourself, yeah? Bless yourself, bless the world. If you said, if you don't love you, if you don't have compassion for yourself, you cannot have compassion and love in the world, really.
Attachment. That one day, one way or another, is not going to be there anymore. Because either, something moves, or they leave, or they die, or whatever, some will always
That's part of the challenge. You love, and then they leave. Whether it's a separation, whether it's a death, whether it's a child grows up and leaves home, or the parent goes, or, beyond this life, then there's the loss. And then it seriously challenges your, do I want to go on loving, knowing that I'm going to lose the one I love? And then we actually deny ourselves the fullness of love, because we don't want the pain of loss, but in fact we're already suffering the anticipation of loss through the entire life. You're suffering a kind of suffering to avoid another kind of suffering. In the end, if you would weigh the pain that you've had in both cases, it's going to be the same. You've not avoided the pain, you've just changed the nature of it. But it's no less pain. So there's a perspective, an approach, we could say. My way of saying that anyway is keep your love one step ahead of pain. Keep your love one step ahead of the pain. Think about it, reflect on it. Don't let me tell you straight away. Try to catch it. There is no love without pain. This is absolute for sure. There's one kriya, we may or may not have time for it today, how much you love. And the comment in that kriya is exactly where you cannot avoid pain. If you love, you pain. More you love you have, more pain you have. But the challenge is then, the more pain you have, then the more love to have as well. Let the love be just that one breath ahead, one step bigger, one breath stronger. Because love is, somebody implied it, intimacy, which we have here, we're going to talk about. And intimacy means you feel, and you feel everything. You feel therefore the suffering around you. But love is bigger than that. If love can carry that pain, it's because it's bigger. You just have to decide to give it a chance in some way. What else? Your story, yes.
My initial thought was family-based.
Yeah.
So I felt love was family-based. Reflection of that, I came to know love more through understanding our connection to all things.
So it's been an expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The story of love, expanding the love. Yeah. More embracing. Somebody else had a hand? Yes.
I used to feel that love was an attachment. I used to confuse it very much in the personal life. And now love for me in the personal life is a reflection. Reflection of each other. And with God, with the high self, love is the longing to belong. That's what love is. Longing to belong.
For you, your story of love has been that.
Longing to belong.
Yeah. Thank you.
Personal reflection.
Yeah. Thank you.
My story is trying to break it apart by rationalizing it and then reconstructing it, trying to reconstruct it under a rational lens, which tends, would it be easier just to take it as it is from the beginning?
Well, if it was easier, you would have done that. It's not easy to be in the fullness of love, and therefore our mind says, don't worry, I'll save you. Let's step back and analyze it. And that's, yeah. And you would only do that because you love. But because it's so difficult to live the verticality of that love, then the mind gives you an angle. But the end result is even that wants to bring you back. Yeah. So it's a trip you had to make. Thank you.
One is I search for love in another to learn and teach me the greatest love within us, the love of the beloved.
The love of
The beloved.
the beloved.
Within us.
Yes. Yes. Excellent. Thank you. Yeah.
I just wanted to share something. A friend of mine had lost his uncle, and anyway, he was absolutely devastated. And as you know, the whole family went through, couple of months later, the other uncle died. So in the middle of that, he took Amrit. And when the second uncle died, he said that his cousin said to him, you were all upset when his dad died, and now my dad's died, and now it's like you don't care. And he was like, what's going on here? And he said, well, it's not that I didn't care. He said, it's just I realised that, I'd taken this Amrit, and I don't know what else he'd done, and he said that he'd understood the process of it now, that he could take a step back from it and be thankful of the fact that he had his uncle in his life as long as he had. And anyway, it got me thinking for ages. And then a few weeks ago, I was reading some of the Guru Granth Sahib, and I don't know, something must have been, I think I was going through some detachment stuff. And for a split second, I looked at my dad, and this came into my head, oh, you're such a beautiful soul. But it was like I was completely separate from him. And it was such a safe place. And it was like, why can't we just be like that? But I can't get back to that place. It was like a split second where I saw he was separate from me and he wasn't, I couldn't have him forever, and I was totally at peace with it. It was okay. And then the rest of the time, so if we could live like that and understand it, life would be so much easier.
That will come. If you've seen it once, you can have it again. It just takes time. Yeah. Thank you, Shannon. That's telling you that, in a way, that there is these two different kinds of love, in a way, yeah? That's why are we talking about romantic love, yeah? You said. And so we've got this sense of the ideal as some kind of unconditional, all-encompassing, divine and sacred, infinite, timeless, that doesn't have any attachments, is not busy with anything. And then there's a whole other side where in the life, I love this, I love that, I love him, I love her, and it's up and down. A love that comes and goes, a love that seems to happen, when I'm near you I feel something, and we call it love, the chemistry of love, and that kind of thing. So there is this loving in the world sense, and there is this mystical, transcendent, beyond, that sets everything free kind of love. A love that allows that I can let him go. And there's a love that says, I never want to let you go. Very contradictory in a way. We'll be working, hopefully by the end of today, we'll work with it, with the paradoxes. And there's right there is a paradox, I love you so much, I want to keep you forever. I love you so much that I can't keep you. I know I can't and I won't, and that's my love. To be, because we are in the world, so we're feeling also that worldly love. At the same time, we're meditating into a consciousness that says, can that love also be bigger than that, yeah? So we're in a play between these two. We get together in what we call love, and we say, you are my completion, you are my other half, I'm happy when I'm with you, okay? So I'm seeking the happiness through the love story with another. It's normal, it's every day, and for many people it's even a lifelong sustainable journey and exploration. You have your ups and downs, but there's an overall sense of, I'm happy with you, and you're happy with me. But it still have that sense of, I'm complete through you, as opposed to, I'm complete, you're complete, let's celebrate that together. Okay, so different. That seems ideal, and there's a danger that a young adult will say, well, I only want that, so I'm only going to have a husband who's already, or a wife or whatever, who's already in that enlightened state of love. Well, if you want that, you're going to have to be prepared to wait a long time, because it takes a long time in a human being to reach that state. And you're normally only going to reach that state also through the journey with a partner. Yeah? With somebody, whether it's two men, two women, man, woman, it's not saying anything about that. Just two people together exploring the depths of love, the highs and the lows, and the toxic parts and the attachment parts and the projection parts and the disappointment parts. And is love still there after the disappointment? Is love still there after the fantasy bubble has burst? Is love still there? On and on and on and on. Oh, love's not what I thought it was. There's somebody expressed that expansion, yeah? Love is more than I thought. So as you go on expanding that sense of what then is love? I thought love was, but now that's broken. Can I still love? But if so, then love has to be something other than what I thought it was. And so on. That's an incredible journey. If you're staying just with a partner for a couple of years until that surface level of love is smashed and then you don't like it, and then you go and find somebody else, you're going to repeat the whole same drama again. And then that's going to smash, and then you're going to go and find somebody else. Or you're going to give up and say, I don't want a partner because this is, love's not for me. That's what people do, yeah? So, what it takes to go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper is actually almost indescribable, really. It's immeasurable, and it's a long, long process, Unless somebody has some good fortune of instant enlightenment, which we always hold that chance out for anyone. But generally speaking, it's a long journey. Yeah? Remember we started the other day, two people. This is just a brief encounter on the street with a friend, whatever, somebody's lost their way, they ask you, can you help me? And that encounter will have, remember, it's barriers. Whether that's a barrier through rudeness, like, sorry mate, I don't know what you're talking about, leave me alone, or a barrier of, yes, just go here, there, okay, you're welcome, bye. Or, oh, you're lost, oh, don't worry, let's have a look, and where's your map? And there's like, oh, this is almost a little bit too intimate, yeah? But if it works out okay, you feel like, wow, that was really gracious. How nice of that person. They didn't just point, it's down there, They took time. They were present. They connected. Yeah? And maybe you didn't want that, or maybe you appreciate that. So there's a measure here, appropriate barrier of connection. But these barriers is also, remember, how much you're showing and how much you're hiding. Okay? So I like what I see, or I can feel there's something more to you that you're not showing, and I'm interested in that. That's sometimes what love is about, isn't it? Feeling behind. Everybody else just sees you as just the plain girl at the party, but somebody else sees something else, and they approach you. Or the other way around. Yeah? Feeling behind the barrier. Okay? And so that journey then starts to deepen, and two people come, yeah? There's a stronger overlap, yeah? This area with the shared area, yeah, here. Shared in time, shared in mutual interests, shared in depth of intimacy, just many levels of sharing. And of course, the extent of that sharing is also an extent of creativity, whether that's two business partners, hey, we really love the same projects and why don't we work together? And it can be very brotherly, sisterly, or, there's a level of intimacy, but still there's boundaries, there's a certain limit, but a high degree of sharing. Or two people get married, but each one, I go off to work and I live my own life. We come together for some time in the evening or in the morning, but each one still has their own private space. Or even just like when you fall asleep, you're on your own. She's sleeping, I'm sleeping. We spent the evening together, that's it. So we keep crossing paths, whether it's at the dinner table or in a cafe or in a hotel or whatever, we cross paths, yeah? The kind of idealistic dream, and the quote that we will often hear from the Guru is, you might have heard it in this way, 2 bodies and 1 soul, but the literal term is Jyot is 1 light. 2 bodies and they become 1 light. So this goes on to increasing depth of connectedness until there's no difference anymore. Yeah? 2 bodies and 1 light. Union, yeah? Communion, union. And there's a chemistry to that, which can be described in 2 different ways. You want to talk through that one about the 4 stages of love?
I think it's something that some of you will have heard in the level 1 to training. Yogi Bhajan talks about the 4 stages of a relationship. Talking about talking about a partnership, love relationship, marital relationship. So Yogi Bhajan talks about the scent of the male and how a woman identifies his scent, his smell, his perfume. And Yogi Bhajan goes as far as to say that a woman can go through lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes looking for this one scent that she knows exists and recognizes and goes on looking for it. Anyway, so at some point the woman picks up the scent, and it can be picked up even at a distance. And when she identifies the scent is right, then she'll send, so that's stage 1, identifying the scent. And he then describes how a woman, when she's recognized and identified it, she sends a signal from her third eye, like a hook, like a fishing rod. And if the man is kind of aware enough to notice, he gets hooked. And this signal from the third eye woman, I want to use, is very powerful, because he says even a perfect yogi living in a cave, if a woman in her health approaches and sends that signal, even he can't resist and remain indifferent. But anyway, not react any further. But if he picks up that signal, then there's a relationship becomes possible. And if there's a mutual agreement, at that point there's a momentary agreement. He might just dissolve because circumstances are all unfavorable. But if there's a mutual interest in pursuit, then of course that the second stage is kind of lose the signal from the third eye. If the circumstances are favorable and there's an acknowledgement of a desire to continue, then all the investigations, all the courting, all the assessment takes place until the day of commitment, when the two commit to explore love on a long-term basis.
The third stage has a kind of something called a name, or what is it?
Third
You have the
stage.
scent, the signal.
Third stage is when you assess and you do all the actions, meet, discuss, all the processing and all the
Processing.
preparation.
Let's say processing. Yeah. Okay.
And the fourth stage is when there's a commitment, and decision to stay with it and move with again through all the thick and thin.
So in a way, that commitment is not the union, but in a way it's a commitment to union. Yeah? I agree to that journey of union with you. Processing also, not only the assessing, but I imagine also involves already chemistry. It's kind of going on as well.
Going through all the emotions. And
Yeah,
all
yeah, yeah. On another level, I'm just going to run that through just from another angle. In Patanjali, you have pratyahara, yeah? You withdraw your senses, yeah? From the environment. I'm not interested, no, I don't want to get married, I don't want to fall in love. And then suddenly there's somebody in front of you. So, oh, what's this, yeah? And this is dharana, yeah? So you actually move from pratyahara to dharana. You focused your 5 senses. Pratyahara. But then there's an interest and you're focusing. Dharana. I'm interested in you. I want to spend time with you. Even when I'm not with you, I'm thinking of you. Yeah? The mind's attention is there. What's next? Anybody remember? Dharana, pratyahara, dharana. Huh? Dhyana, yeah? I think you spell it with an H there. Dhyana. And that is exactly meaning you're in an energetic process with the other. There's this flux of energy happening. And what's finally?
I forgot something.
Okay, come back to that. What is it? Samadhi, yeah? Becoming one with the object of focus, yeah? That which you have chosen to meditate upon, that union. So that's just to show that behind the material, chemical kind of journey, there is also a higher level being expressed, yeah?
Yeah, I don't know where it's inserted in those stages, but the stage of being in love, which is a very real state where your biochemistry is different and your mind doesn't function like it normally does. You're like in a intoxicated state.
I think this is just around, this whole thing around.
Unreal and
Yeah.
temporary. But you are absorbed in the
Falling in love.
It's like a pattern.
Yeah? Falling
like
in love.
Like a contemplation. You're
Yeah.
always just thinking
Yeah.
and absorbed with the other,
Yeah.
not really present
But
for what's really going on around you.
this is, at that point it's organic, it's chemical, it's the love in the world as we know it in the world. It's not that glimpse of that's beyond, because this attaches, yeah? Chemistry attaches. Which is, I mean, this attachment is not an evil thing. It's worldly. Reproduction of the species happens because you attach and you bond with somebody. So it's all very natural. It's not, we're not here to turn it into a religious sin. Yeah, we're just recognizing that's how it is. Yeah, that's how it works. The love in the world has to work like that. If there wasn't a chemistry behind it, then there wouldn't be families and there wouldn't be babies and you wouldn't be here. So.
Some people get addicted to that falling in love.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Break in before it becomes anything deeper.
Stop it before it goes too deep. Want to go and go through that process again and again. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. You wanted to read a poem?
Oh, it's just a poem about being in love and how real a state it is. Not being in love, but love itself.
Mm-hmm.
How real a state it is, but how temporary and what a glimpse it is like. By Rumi, I'm not so short. If anyone asks you how the perfect satisfaction of our sexual wanting will look, lift your face and say, like this. When someone mentions the gracefulness of the night sky, climb up on the rooftop and dance and say, like this. If anyone wants to know what spirit is, or what God's fragrance means. Lean your head towards him or her. Keep your face there close, like this. When someone quotes the old poetic image about clouds gradually uncovering the moon, slowly loosen knot by knot the strings of your robe, like this. If anyone wonders how Jesus raised the dead, don't try to explain the miracle. Kiss me on the lips, like this, like this. When someone asks what it means to die for love, point here. If someone asks how tall I am, frown and measure with your fingers the space between the creases on your forehead, this tall. If someone asks, now, the soul sometimes leaves the body, the returns. When someone doesn't believe that, walk back into my house like this. When lovers moan, they're telling our story like this. I am a sky where spirits live, stare into this deepening blue, while the breeze says a secret like this. When someone asks what there is to do, light a candle in his hand, like this. How did Joseph's scent come to Jacob? How did Jacob's sight return? A little wind cleans the eyes like this. When Shams comes back from Tabriz, he'll put just his head around the edge of the door to surprise us like this.
Basically, from the teachings, the implication is that Yoga Bhajan tries to direct us to that sense of the absolute love. Yeah? It's the supreme power, it's the absolute, it's everything, it's where there's love, there's no questions, where there's love, you don't feel the pain. So the love we're orienting to is the absolute love. You'll hear today on the video reactive, active, and absolute love. And that's again a triangle, again a three. Looking at our chart the other day, where you have the negative mind with its patterns, its insecurities, when the invitation to be vulnerable, open, connected, heartful comes along, the negative mind is going to throw up reaction. It's reactive love. Active love is more or less what we're talking about now, just the everyday seeking, finding, exploring, testing, assessing, trying to find that fulfillment in the everyday world of the species of the human being. And then the absolute love, going to the neutral mind and transcending, yeah? The limited love. So reference is made to what we call earthly contracts and sacred contracts. Any marriage can contain both within it, yeah? Many people are just together because of the children, because of the money, because of the taboos, because of the what will people think, the cultural pressures, whatever. It's a contract to stay together, but it's an earthly contract. It's a finite contract because if I say, oh, I'm going to be with you forever and love you forever, that's actually a lie, yeah? Somewhere in the next so many decades, you or I will not be here, and that statement, I'm going to love you forever and be with you forever, is not true. But we say it. Why do we say it? Because something in us aspires to that infinite nature of love. So earthly contract is earthly contract, and sacred contract is sacred contract. And ultimately that's between the soul and God, yeah? That's the sacred contract. You may aspire to manifest that in your relationship with your partner. Although we say two bodies and one light, actually how often do we see that? How often is that encountered? For all kind of reasons, yeah? Nobody is saying it's right or wrong. Is that ideal? Even as the Guru also says, the Guru Mukh, the true being who turns to the Guru and liberates from all their karma, dead while alive in this lifetime, is one in millions. Okay? So it's great to hold out that sense of that ideal, contribute what little you can to that quality of love in the life. At the same time, not to be disappointed by the fact that it's a long way and there are a lot of challenges and there are many stratas interfering, and not for that to become like, oh, it's hopeless, I don't even want to think about it. So the ability to hold that two sides, these two different contracts. Sargun, remember guna? Guna is a quality. Sargun, nirgun. The God in the creation is sargun, all the qualities you see God in all. Doesn't only mean in all persons, but in all. Nirgun, no qualities. So there's a love which has no condition and no quality and no qualification. You qualify for love. How can you qualify for love? And yet, parents do that, isn't it? Yeah? You're a bad boy. And somehow the love is withheld. Now you have to go to your room. Now this, now that. If you do this, then you get some extra attention. You get a little extra love. This is this worldly contract, yeah? A love that you can buy and sell, that you can emotionally bribe people with. It depends on qualities. If you match up to those qualities, oh, you're not my type. Yeah, I mean, it's a common term, right? Common thing a person might say. What does it imply? I love certain qualities and the other qualities that I don't love. Nobody out on the street will say that's wrong, and so we're not sitting here saying that's wrong, but we are recognizing that's very limited. And if you want reality, 3 levels again. My reality, my preferences, what I like, what I don't like. Circumstantial. While our families have put us together in this arranged marriage, we might as well learn to love each other, because we're going to have to live together for the rest of our lives. It's a circumstantial when you can cultivate a kind of friendship, contract, loving agreement. But if you challenge yourself to universal awareness, to deep consciousness, then you have to go beyond that. And it's not loving a type, and it's not love because of circumstances. It's love. Which is why in one meditation that we have, you've probably heard the phrase, love is love, yes? Have you heard it? And maybe some of you have been to Tantra, and sometimes that's the meditation that is done. Any realizations? Enlightened now?
Not enlightened. For me, it was a little bit like if you're sieving a liquid, a contaminated liquid through a whole set of filters, going
Right.
filter out the rationalized ego bullshit out of the thing, and then
distill it down to the final thing.
And I had a feeling of that the more I leave my mind and my rationalization and fears and whatever out of it, it burns down to what I am, basically, and that's sort of what a lot of me is, and that was quite it's good. It takes the weight off the thing a little.
Good. Yeah.
First, I couldn't really catch what it really means. Love is love, but it sounds kind of neutral in the sense of
Neutral.
but then I started emphasizing love is, and then I got more into the feeling that love is at the beginning and in the end.
Uh-huh. Good. That's right.
It's clear now.
It is so. That's right. Very good.
Where it's just I have a sense of just the purity of it without any kind of ego.
Yeah, exactly.
Explanation
Great. That's another expression of that distilling, taking out all the layers that you have on top of the love and coming down to that pure. Very good. Uh-huh.
In my level 1 teacher training, I was walking on the path and another lady was coming the other way. I'd been talking for a few times. We made eye contact. We just looked at each other and his eyes filled up with tears and I said, "It's love, isn't it?" She said, "Yes." And walked off. It's the thing that yoga teacher training has given me is this thing, there is this love between humans that's a basic part of our functioning.
Yeah.
And we've just missed it in a way. And in this training, those barriers are gone.
Yeah.
And it gives you wonderful little moments like that.
Exactly.
And you can carry that out to the world. You can
That's
message
right.
people, hey, let's just be simple here and let this thing
Yep.
come from here. And this is kind of love to me that it's just an instinctual human thing that fleeting passes. We can have anyone.
Yep.
That's wonderful. And that meditation takes that thing, it's like, yeah, we complicate that.
Exactly. Keep it simple.
And get rid of something that is very simple and wonderful.
Yep. We don't have to go, "I love you, therefore." We don't have to do that. Just, it's love, isn't it? Yes. That's beautiful. Really.
What you referred to at the beginning, show somebody the way and all these things like where you, that's love in those situations. In the best case scenario, a brief encounter of
Yeah.
random strangers on the street is ideally a love encounter. If I meet someone in the street, I'm fully there for them if they ask me something. And I can feel it, they appreciate it. And there's a moment, every smile I get on the street, I know that's love.
Yeah.
Women passing me smile, or men passing me smile, I smile. That's a brief thing, that's a beauty.
Human moments. Yep. Yep.
To me, at the beginning, it also didn't make much sense because I was asking, what is love?
What?
And then I said, it's not asking for the things to give me love or for people to give me love. It comes, love is love. Love is in me.
Yes.
And then if it comes to me, it's because it's a reality, it's a reflection.
Yes.
It's not like,
Excellent,
it's not
excellent.
something to look for, it's just
Yep. Very good. In the worldly contract of love, this is what we have. Okay? There's an innate structure to that chemistry of love. Process is process, structure is structure. So as a process, it's what we described there, that falling into love. Okay?
How did you call it, the worldly?
Worldly contract. It's a term used in the manual. I'm just using it so you make some anchors when you read the manual. Yeah. In the manual, it's got, I don't remember if it's passion or attachment on the top. Doesn't say why. From my own studies and research and reflection, I find it makes more sense to put the triangle this way and put intimacy at the top of the triangle. And this is a bit, you can exchange these. You might think negative mind, positive mind, or negative mind, positive mind. But an intimacy has that neutrality to it, and it may or may not be loaded and colored with attachment and passion. But of course, you can have a strong attachment with somebody, but no love. It's a business deal. It's even a child can be attached to the mother. There may be, in the sympathetic or nervous system, they may feel empathy, which we would call a naive compassion that a child will have, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's love. My child loves me. No, they need you. Your child needs you, and one day they won't need you, and then you'll find out whether they love you. Yeah? So, just, it's kind of, it's a brutal statement, but it's, it makes you wake up as a parent, yeah? They come running and holding my hand, oh, my baby loves me. Well, she wants something, she's come. It's organic, plants in your house, when you feel ill, your plants suffer a bit. There's a kind of empathetic resonance on an organic level that unless you've learned to shut that down in your nervous system, you can't help feeling. Several times you've used the word this week, instinctive, yeah? This is an instinctive quality. So a child will feel that. A dog feels it, yeah? When the owner dies or is away or the owner is sick, the dog will sit by the bedside, of the master to try to emanate some kind of healing energy. But it's not like a conscious, loving choice from the heart. It's purely organic. It doesn't make it wrong. It doesn't make it any more or less valuable or meaning. It's all part of the divine creation that we have this instinctive capacity for compassion, suffer with, yeah? You're suffering, I can't help feeling that suffering. But that love is actually, somebody implied again, is a conscious choice thing, to step into love. Because where you have empathy, remember, there's a fluctuation. Sympathy, I have more empathy for you and less for her. What does that mean? That's not empathy. Empathy is the middle, where you feel it with the whole universe around you. But in our worldly nature, in our karma drama, sympathy and antipathy, yeah? The compassion is more here and less there. It's a corrupted compassion, still compassion. The roots of it is compassion, but you're selective about where you give that compassion. Why? Because the mind filters the love and corrupts it in its instinctive level. If somebody treats you bad, you're naturally, like any creature that wants to survive, naturally inclined to have antipathy towards that person. If I walk into a bar and it's full of smoke and I'm not accustomed to that and it makes my throat feel funny, I'm inclined organically, never mind psychologically, I'm organically inclined to feel antipathy, negation to that environment. I need to get out of here. It's an organic survival process that you will have a fluctuation of antipathy and sympathy in your environments. Is reasonably healthy. You would hope your child will grow up with a certain kind of discernment and feel, oh, I don't want to be with these boys. They fight too much. They speak bad or whatever. I'd rather be with somebody else. You're happy to hear that from your child. You don't want, oh no, come on, you have to have compassion. So be compassionate, but walk away. Because underneath that compassion, there's still nonetheless an organic antipathy. Same will happen with parents. If there's not a healthy relationship, you will feel more sympathy to one parent, more antipathy to another, or antipathy to both. And as soon as you can get old enough, you're out, and you don't even want to come back. Okay? All that is just organic self-survival. It's organic, but therefore it has a psychology. So the mind's set, but that's mind, that's not heart. The mind adjusts itself to say, no, I'm not going there. Compassion in the highest sense that we understand it, not in that naive, instinctive, organic level, in the highest sense, is only coming with consciousness, where you can go beyond your antipathies and sympathies and have absolute, unconditional compassion for all. That's huge. That's a big mission, and it can't happen until the heart is open and deep and vast and strong, because you have to be strong to hold all of that. Okay? So I'm saying very clearly there, yeah? Heart has to be open, deep, vast, but also strong. We're human, but we're not the fullness of the possible human. We agree to that? It's still unfolding in us, yeah? The flowering of the human potential has a long way to go. We use 10 to 20% of our brain. That you can probably guess that we're not yet, therefore, even more than 10 or 20% fulfilled what the human can be. So we're still babies. We're hardly even teenagers. in terms of what is the possible human. To that extent, our heart is operative, because human is to live by the heart. If you think first 4 chakras, mineral, first chakra, organic, second chakra, animal, third chakra, then the human heart. So only to the extent that we cultivate heart are we cultivating human. But we still play it out, and we have to. That's, remember, in the karma to the dharma, we're still playing it out in all the karmic forms, sometimes regressing back to drama, but slowly, slowly trying to move it into its dharmic expression. What is the fulfillment of love? It has a certain neutrality to it. It has a unconditionedness to it. But if you don't have the nucleus, the emotional nucleus of self, you will not be strong enough. It will overwhelm you. And you will drown. What you drown in is the compassion. You think the love is overwhelming, but when you love, your compassion is equally growing with that. And that compassion is that waves of human struggle that washes through your system and drowns you. If you're not stable. You know that thing they call it the buoy that floats, yeah? Is it, everybody knows what that is, yeah? Out in the harbor, this thing is floating, yeah? Big waves come, small waves come, boats go past, everything, but it sits there floating. Do you have that nucleus of self that no matter what experience goes through your system, you can stay? Somebody used the expression the other day, riding that wave, yeah? We don't have that buoyancy. We sink. Our heart caves in. Oh, my heart is broken. Heart has to be broken. Shell has to be broken. Bud has to break open. Flower has to come out. It has to break, but we break down. We don't break open. This is work to do. It's a training to do. It's a learning. So you have to sometimes go back to the animal. Herd, establish the base, make everything healthy, strong, so that it can hold that openness and that you don't break down, you don't cave in. A certain vitality is needed. Why you need Kundalini energy? We might call it superhuman, but it's not superhuman. It's just the fullness of human. But it seems, from 10% to 80% is so big a step that you might think that person is superhuman. Yeah, from where we stand. But there's a vitality is needed. So your awakening Kundalini energy is to give you that extra vitality, to keep a buoyancy in life, so that what you open up to can move through you and not drown you. And you stay centered. You don't get lost with that flow here, lost over there, lost in that suffering. You stay always in the center. Yep.
With women, are they more susceptible to that kind of drama?
Sure.
Because of the hormonal
Absolutely.
emotions? So
That's
in
right.
that moment, when they know they are really open to it, because they almost can have to drown each time, how would you say to keep?
You have to identify you beyond that. That's the difference between the instinctive and the intuitive. Yeah, you have to identify this is my hormonal, instinctive self. Where is my intuitive self? Who's me that is consciousness, that is breath, breath, mantra. This is another me. Not in the denial of the hormonal, but by awakening and holding that sense of this other self. Yes, I feel the waves, but I stay in my intuitive conscious self. It's another. There's 2 male in every male, 2 female in every female. Shall I recap on that? Primary male, penetrative male, impulsive, fathering, energy to father, is vertical. Very basic, the wild man in some way. Secondary man is the technician, the fixer, the protector, the one who can stay around, build the fort, and make good. It's a different quality in man. It's totally different from. And sometimes you'll see in families that there's different men around. One is the one who's just always going and sowing the wild oats, they say, the penetrative male. Sometimes you have a family situation where one was the father, but he's gone, and now there's another man, and he's the friend, the protector, the one who's there, who can play with the children, who can fix the washing machine, who can provide her, we used the other day that term. It's often not the same two men. In the female, if you don't understand, you say. If you don't speak, I'm assuming you get it. In the female, we've more or less heard it, the mothering instinct, the broody, the chemistry, the cyclic quality, very organic, therefore. And when we have in the women's training camps the reference to the noble woman, the intuitive woman, the grace, woman of grace, clarity, right brain, fully functioning, getting the whole picture. No, this is the intuitive female now, yeah? Different, hormonal, mood changing. Intuitive, never mind the mood, clarity is clarity. Every woman has that capacity, but in most cases, if you don't actively cultivate it, it tends not to happen. It tends to shut down. You, like we say, a woman shouldn't cover the third eye with the fringe, because this has to be open, because this is your intuitive self that will help you to don't make decisions based on your changing hormonal moods. Make a decision based on intuitive clarity. Okay, so you have these two parts. There's a part of you that will say, I knew, but I was feeling this and this and that. But you knew. See? That part was there, but it was not the part that guided your decision. So that's a training and an identity shift. While I do have and experience these emotional fluctuations, I honor them and I'm aware of them and I harmonize with them. At the same time, the one who's aware of that is independent, is another being in me, and she's the one who makes the choices. And she's the one I choose to identify with. Yeah?
When you said clarity, as in...
Yeah, intuitive clarity, present and aware, in the moment, in spite of whatever the emotional feeling is. Yeah?
Can you really choose which woman you are within your being, or do they come with different qualities?
There are women who tend to be more intuitive. There are women who tend to be very, very dominated by the instinctive, same as in the male. Men who are very dominated by the impulsive, penetrative quality. And men who are very much identified with the technician, the fixer, the protector, and the provider. So these are almost also have like organic manifestations even, constitutional qualities. When you just see the body of a person, you can almost tell. But we all have the ability to harmonize all of these qualities within us. So every woman can cultivate her intuitive self, absolutely, and would benefit from doing so. Yeah? Every man needs to be in the environment of the intuitive feminine, needs to learn to be stable within the fluctuations of the instinctive feminine, but for his awakening, he needs the presence of the intuitive feminine, because she's the consciousness, not him. She's 16 times more, so she brings awareness. But if, we had it the other day, right? The sense of why this burden of responsibility comes on the woman. Yeah, we say if a man falls, one falls. If a woman falls, a generation falls, or a nation falls, yeah? When women are down, the whole culture is down. If women are elevated, the whole community is elevated, because man then has to rise into that intuitive consciousness. But if the woman doesn't have that intuitive consciousness, then where is the man going to go? There's nothing lifting him out of his limited perspective on the world. The secondary male, the one that's the protector, is also the one that therefore puts territory and boundary and protects by attacking any potential threat. Not necessarily only waiting till that threat comes, but so that they don't come, let's go and attack them first. And that's how far the war goes, yeah? So this is what the primary male that wants to penetrate uses the secondary male to guard the space. If you don't bring in intuitive female that has a sense of human community, it's a recipe for war. It goes back to just old feudal, territorial, I'm little king of my area and you're king of your area. There's a 10-mile barrier, that you don't cross or I don't cross, because if you do, I'll fire rockets at you. That's where we've been. Okay, we're still maturing. We lived in the Stone Age, primary male. We lived in the matriarchal age, instinctive female. We lived in what I would call the false patriarchal age of the secondary male. And we are making little beginnings of the intuitive female. It's an era that we're stepping into. So a lot of emphasis on the need for women to move into their intuitive nature. It's tricky because some people do that in a way of denying and rejecting the instinctive, which is dishonorable. It's not to be understood in that way. But nonetheless, it has to happen. Intuitive has to wake up. And yes. What do you have so far? What do you understand about it? Anybody can say anything. Put your hand up. What do you understand?
I see it more like unity with like the animal and the more earthly and the more angel. So primary male, more the penetrative one, instinctive one, and the protector and technician one, like the here, for example. And third,
Just because we're using the word instinct for the female, let's not mix it up with the male. I understand your use of the term, but let's just keep it primal, penetrating, fathering, impulsive. And there's multiple signs of it. The tendency to find holes and fill them. And if you don't find a hole to fill, make one. So you end up wondering, why are these men digging this hole in the road? Some men just have to make holes and then fill them up again. Keep themselves busy and make themselves feel useful, like we said the other day. Yeah? Golf balls in golf holes, footballs in football nets, rockets into space, bullets into people. Look around you. Once you get it, once you start to see it, how pervasive is this tendency of male to generate some form of penetration? And we're not criticizing it, just, of course, every aspect, female as much as male, can get seriously corrupted, but if it didn't exist, there'd be no creation, It's a very fundamental force for creation. The instinctive female is the one who actually wants to be penetrated. She wants to be filled. She feels empty, and she wants to be pregnant. It's the broody, mothering, needy, fill me kind of energy. Yeah, it's purely instinctive. So if you look at the elements, we're talking about not the earth as in Mother Earth planet, but the earth as in rock, stone, standing stone, that kind of phallic quality of the standing stone. That's primary male. Secondary male, organic, cyclic, seasons, that kind of thing. As you say about an animal, she's in heat, yeah? It's a seasonal thing. Secondary male, yes, it goes up to the level of animal. The lion marking the territory, the dog peeing on every corner to make sure any other dog knows that there's somebody at home, you don't come in, and that kind of thing. It's totally territorial and protective. And a little bit of nest building. You get the beavers or whatever, working together to build the home and make it cozy for the babies, that kind of thing. Male do that in the nesting of birds, yeah? The male is flying out, grabbing the bits of sticks and whatever. This is secondary male, the builder. You get some men who just want to go and penetrate next, and they don't stop and build around what they have caused, and others who don't have that potency. It's a potency. Man has to learn to go vertical with that penetration. Father his own spirit. We touched on that, yeah, to move it into verticality. But right now, we see it a lot out there in the horizontal plane. But man only really learns to do that in most cases by the presence of an awareness which we call intuitive, which is again feminine. A woman says, "Hey, stop, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? I don't need it like this, I need it like that." Practically, a man says, "This is the best way to build that cupboard." Creatively and sensitively, the woman says, "But I want it like this." Well, that's not very logical. But I know, but I want it like this. Oh, all right then. So the builder builds the cupboard like that. But in fact, when he sits down on the sofa and looks and says, "It's all right, actually. It's quite nice, Takes him a little time to admit it, It wasn't practical or logical, but actually it's good, Because she had the intuition and she knew how it should be. And if he says, "But you can't do that," she says, "Come on, you're a technician, aren't you? Work it out." If she's clever, she affirms his male capacity to solve problems, yeah? And he says, "All right, I'll give it a go." If she doesn't know how to do that, then that's a problem in the relationship, because she is more conscious than he. She has to lift him up and say, "You can do this." More clear?
So the third one is more like finding accessibility to that intuitive.
Having
That accessibility or connection to that intuitive female in him?
is no. Third is male. It's just male. It's not intuitive and it's not sensitive. He is the technician who'll build a cannon because he can to serve the primary male that just wants to penetrate through the wall of the enemy. We need a technician, secondary male, come here. Our purpose is break that wall down. You're a technician, make it for me. Come up with the answer. A woman says, "All day I'm washing clothes, all day." Man says, "Maybe I can come up with a machine for that." And he did. That's secondary male. He solves the problem. He fixes and he maintains and repairs and services and the whole thing. Or he sets the boundary, protects the boundary. It's totally animal, totally male. Nothing intuitive about it. He'll come up with a machine, what we call toys for boys. Yeah? The woman says, "Well, what's that for?" There's nothing but entertainment. Because when he hasn't got something to do better that helps uplift and serve society, which a woman knows as a communal being what is needed, he just comes up with anything to pass the time and entertain. Because he's like positive mind. Do. If you don't give something useful to do, he'll do something useless. That's what it is. And the problem is that becomes addictive, yeah? And so then there's a challenge, and that's the challenge of the intuitive feminine, to lift him out of his gadget, or his just sitting on the computer playing those games, which were man-made as well, for boys. Then, how to get him out of that space and say, there's other needs, there's a garden to take care of, there are children, there's shall we go for a walk together with the family, or whatever, lift it to another level. But if she's not skilled in her intuitive faculty, she'll complain, oh, my husband, he just does this, he does that, he. And you know what the master does. He throws it back in the face. You're the woman. If you can't sort it out, there's something you're not taking care of in you. You have not developed your faculty as a woman. Don't put it on the man. I'm not excusing the man. I recognize his failure. Once he said, what do you expect? He's only got half a brain. It's kind of, stop putting it on him, what he can't. You perceive it. You recognize. He doesn't even recognize as an issue. You recognize it. So you have to take it on. You can take it on as a burden. Why me? It's so frustrating, whatever. And what some women do is, they take the penetrative mail and they roll it up in a newspaper. Why don't you always just sit it? You understand what I'm saying? This is what traditionally woman has done. And the more you grab his primary impulse, the more he's just going to sit there like a potato on the sofa. Actually, it's totally counterproductive. You want to nag and prod and poke and provoke, but he's not going to move anywhere. He just becomes increasingly able to just sit. He's a master at it. And you're helping him to do it all the better the more you just poke him. Because it's absolutely the one thing he doesn't want. But instead of learning to get away from it, well, that's what he will do, yeah? He'll go and sit in the pub instead of sit at home. But if he can sit numb at home, he'll sit numb at home. He'll just continue to desensitize himself to all of that nagging. That's his nature. His orientation is desensitize. You want him sensitive. And yet your behavior towards him is producing the opposite. If you want him sensitive, you're going to approach with your sensitivity, not with your frustration. It's a big project, it's a long project. As Satya said, endurance, the other day. Huh? That's one reason. They just want away from the nagging. Some go and play golf, some go and drink, some go and do something else, some go and find another woman who's more sensitive. That's how it happens. If you don't find these in one relationship, these four properties, then I guarantee you at least one person in the relationship is looking for it somewhere else. Okay? Not necessarily in the form of a human, living male or female, but it might be their car. Isn't she beautiful? Or whatever. They'll go and find some other way to engage and encounter that quality. Or it might be running back to mommy, or it's the big sister, or it's the neighbor, or it's an affair, whatever. But she does the same. If she doesn't find primary male, then you wonder where the milkman has been all morning, because she finds it somewhere else. Or the other way around. He's very primal, wild, wonderful in bed, whatever, but he can't fix a damn thing. So she's always spending all the budget on call the plumber, call the builder, call this, call the fixer, and all the money goes because he can't do any of it. Sometimes you wonder, you see a couple together, why are they together? You don't know what it's like in the bedroom, do you? Sometimes that's enough for a couple. But they've got to have the money to cover everything else, or otherwise they live in houses where everything is breaking. And they can't afford to pay anything, and he doesn't have the faculty. Secondary male is missing. You understand what I'm saying? Just look at any situation around you and you'll see how much is primary male present, how much is instinctive female present, how much is it dominating, because if it's dominating, there'll be a reaction. How much is secondary male present but not primary? Where is it compensated? How much is intuitive female present? In which way? Hysterical, oversensitive, freaking out, neurotic all the time? Or conscious, like a breeze, like a grace that moves and aspires from the background and lifts everything up to another level in prayer, you know? How much is that present or not? And if it's not, what's happening? The whole family is degenerating. You hear these neighbors shouting and screaming like animals at each other? Or somebody's not at home because they're looking for that somewhere else, because it's not in the house. Or drowning in their sorrows in the bar and complaining about their wives and, while they drink, whatever. You know all these stories. You witness it all the time. You probably grew up with it. It's very simple, very, very simple. Is it called the double marriage? Carl Jung knew about it, but he didn't get the whole picture. It's been known in psychology, in some circles anyway. 2 male, 2 female. And if they're not all at home, there's something going on in the background. It may be the football, it may be the TV, it may be a person, or people have just learned to suffer, to numb it and suffer. She numbs her third eye because it's too painful to wake up to the reality. He numbs himself from the nagging, whatever. It's one or the other. Degenerate into numbness or animalistic behavior, or I want that and I'm not getting it here, I'm going to make it happen. Secretly or publicly, I'm going to find it in my life. Yeah, the drive to consciousness also pushes us to figure it out one way or another. Yes?
So how do you encourage behaviours that are missing? If you're in a kind of solid primary relationship, if one element of that was missing and you knew it was, what steps would you take to kind of ensure that it was a more fulfilled relationship in the respect of those the primary and the technician? And,
I understand.
All there.
Again, this is always tricky. When you get personal, you have to look at the context. There's no one formula, and you have to see how much is it me, how much is it do I have to in myself just find, replace that quality within myself by my own meditation, cultivate my own maleness, bring in guru like the mystical male, or do I? Is there something I can talk through with my partner? How can I serve? It's case by case. I really don't feel I can just come up with some kind of formula. There's many possible options. Of course, you have to look at, can I serve? But if you overburden yourself and the other is not taking any responsibility, that doesn't work. But if you try to put it all on him and you've not checked out, if I move myself more into the intuitive feminine, what will be the consequence? So you have to experiment with your own energy first of all and see whether that in itself already starts to generate something. And if it doesn't, over a certain period of time, then you have to say, what does this mean? How will I replace that? How will I cover that? If you're honest with yourself, you'll find what we call a harmless deviation from the path. Having an affair is very damaging in the long run. Having friends where you sit and share, going to the temple, whatever. There are other ways that keep a harmony at home and that kind of thing. So you have to reflect on it. And there are people, some people are just, they don't sleep in the same bed and they both know that they have other affairs and they don't say anything about it. Or I heard one woman saying to her husband, I'll never want to have sex ever again. I understand you might need to. Why don't you go and find somebody? We're not divorcing, we're committed with each other, but I understand your need. It's all right with me. And so on. There's no right or wrong. It's whatever's the contract between you. You have to work that out. So I'm not going to You understand? It's too diverse the way this can unfold. Really. But you get the picture, yeah? Good. That's all the chemistry of love. Actually, is like carbon is the father, moisture, the mother, heat, the male, and oxygen, the female. This is the basis of creation, scientifically speaking. Yeah? Carbon, humidity, fire, heat of some kind, and oxygen, air. Carbon, primary male, moisture, the mother,
Female.
yeah, instinctive, fire, warmth, heat of some kind,
Secondary
yeah,
male.
this is secondary male, yeah, and oxygen, breath, air, a breeze of some kind. This is intuitive female. These are 4 basic ingredients for a planet that's nothing but a rock floating in the middle of space to become like we have, an abundance of Earth. Okay, it's very organic, very basic. There in the DNA of creation, you know, 2 male, 2 female properties from the beginning of creation, like Sata Nama. Sa is intuitive female, Ta primary male, Na instinctive female, Ma may surprise you, Mata materia is the rock, it's the stone, it's the primary male. Materia, matter, primary matter, dust.
Like
No, like dust. Okay?
Can you repeat the Satana?
Sa, this is the same but in reverse. Intuitive female, secondary male, instinctive female, primary male. Satanana. Okay, we'll have a break and then we'll talk about this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.